Hello and welcome to today's video. This time we're going to be taking a look through a collection of vintage Brooke Bond tea picture cards and albums. So sit back, relax and let's take a look. Okay then, so I was quite lucky in that fairly recently, in the last few months, I bought a job lot of these Brooke Bond picture cards off eBay, and amazingly they only cost a tenner. And I thought, surely, you know, that seems very, very cheap for these, but they're so plentiful, they were so common, and it was a massive and popular promotion that there seems to be stacks of these around. So if you ever fancy collecting these, they're certainly cheap. And I've recognised a few that I had as a kid, like this one, the Prehistoric Animals. I suspect that because sort of the mid-1970s, I was 5-6 years old, these are the ones that I most remember. But there were certainly some of the older ones that I saw sort of at my grand's house that you know, I do remember, and I didn't realise they were actually sort of 60s. It's only sort of looking at them with modern eyes that I've been able to sort of date them. But yeah, so Prehistoric Animals. So what I'll do, I've got well over 20 albums to go through, so we'll have a little flick through. Hopefully these will bring back a little bit of nostalgia for yourself. I mean, value-wise, apparently, if you want to collect these as like a collectible, the cards need to be, the albums need to be unused, and the cards need to be in sort of mint sets. But none of mine are. This is exactly how I had them when I was a kid, and how I remember my gran having them. Now, yes, some of these you could mail in and get a poster for, but I don't ever remember having those. Yeah, look, this must have been, because it's all in sort of decimal, this must have been sort of mid 1950s, I'm guessing. And there's some of the other different ones there. I wonder if there's any sort of date on these. Not that I can see on there, but I mean, dinosaurs was always a good subject, wasn't it? And it's funny, but I remember, absolutely loving these as a kid and reading every single sort of little box beneath them. I know some of the ones I remember most vividly. I think it was the one on flags, and there was like exotic birds or something like that, which I'm pretty sure we'll get to see. But the person I bought them off said, look, I haven't been through them all, but he assumed that they were all complete. And well, that one is definitely complete, isn't it? Brooke Bond Oxo. Picture cards are given free with Brooke Bond tea and tea bags. And there we are, like a little nice wrapper on that, nice jacket. So there they are. That's the sort of thing we're looking at now. Transport through the ages. And this one's got the illustrator, Richard Ward. Described by Arthur G. Bourne. Price £6. So I wonder if this is more late 60s, this one. I have actually got a little guidebook for these, which I got from the London Cigarette Card Company, and it does list loads and loads of series. I had no idea there was so many. But this, I think, is probably, what I've got is probably quite a typical batch of what was perhaps available in the UK in the 60s and 70s, although these were sold overseas as well. But it was an incredible promotion when you think about it, wasn't it? And the only thing you could sort of liken it to was like cigarette cards, I suppose, but for cups of tea, so a little bit more healthy. Now, once again, no date that I can see on that one, so I guess they'll be in that little guidebook. Now, this seems much more recent, although it's the sort of one I would have loved to have had as a kid. I don't remember seeing this, The Race into Space. Man's first 50 steps into the universe. So I wonder, 5p again. I think it's early 70s because it's got the 1 shilling in brackets. So that sort of dates us about 71, 72 really. With a little introduction by Patrick Moore. He was always the man. If there was anything space related, wouldn't he? A little list of cards there. Yeah, this is nice, isn't it? Ah, no, that one's got a card missing, because number 2, look, you can see what it was, but there isn't a card there. At least you can still read the books, I suppose, even if you haven't got every single card in the collection. as I said, I mean, you can pick up mint unused sets of these for like a pound or two. So if there's any that you particularly want, they're pretty easy to get hold of. And so from what I understand, there were posters as well, and I think they're a little bit harder to find, which is understandable, I suppose, if they were sort of mail order. It's a really nice album, this one. What's this here? Order form for Race into Space. Maybe they did order some. Pretty cool, eh? That's nice. So what's this? Wildflowers. Look at this. Illustrated and described by C.F. Tunnicliffe. Now, C.F. Tunnicliffe was a really noted illustrator. He did some covers for some really great Ladybird books. And look, a card is given free in every pack of choicest egglets and PG Tips tea. Also 2 cards in each half-pound tin of Brooke Bond Pure and French coffee. So the coffee drinkers could get in on it. Well, there you go. See, I heartily approve now. I like tea, but, I prefer coffee. And I see that one. Look, that looks like it had a card, but it's gone over the years. But this does look like quite an early one, doesn't it? Sort of definitely 1960s, but quite how early, I don't know. Oh, this one's actually missing several, so quite a few missing from this particular one. But we'll have a look anyway, just for the nostalgia. As I said, for £10 for the whole lot. I think it was about £3 postage. I thought that's a deal, really. So yeah, loads missing from that one. It's like it was a bit of an afterthought. Or maybe it was the first one that they started to collect, and then from that point on they did it. Now this looks like mid-70s again, because it's got the 5p adventurers and explorers. 50 great stories of trailblazing and discovery. Nice wraparound jacket there. I wonder who that's by. It does look vaguely familiar, the artwork style. It feels a bit thicker, so I'm assuming that we got a few more cards in this one. But yeah, I remember quite a few of my friends at school having these albums and bringing them in and really enjoying collecting them, Like collector's aids. Now this is to put them into the albums, I guess. Plus maps again. So there's a whole order form there of like different series. These are the albums you could get. Oh no, picture card sets, including the book. So that you could get the whole sets for like 16 to 18 pence. How incredible. I said, they're not a lot more than that now. Oh, and there's the wall charts. How cool. 39 by 33 inches. I haven't got any of those. Wow, look at them all. Yeah, great stuff, aren't they? So that's good. Well, that's the first sort of 5 sets done. Now this one I remember because of the Churchill picture. So, but it's got 6D on, so it looks like it's 60s. So maybe it was one that my gran had before, and just kept it around. This series of picture cards is offered in the interest of education by Brooke Bond. I remember that of Churchill quite vividly. So I'd imagine Churchill's probably got his own card. I would surmise. W.G. Grace for the cricket fans. Yeah, there he is. Quite a good likeness. And some war heroes is Montgomery. Field Marshal Viscount Montgomery. Lawrence of Arabia. Stanley Matthews, the footballer. Yeah, some interesting ones in there. And Roger Bannister, the first person to Was it break the 4 minute mile, wasn't it? That's right, the 4 minute mile. Brilliant. Another one I remember, History of the Motor Car. Another one, I think, similar sort of period, sort of late 60s, I think. Yeah, I remember this one pretty well. So yeah, my gran must have had a few. I do seem to remember she had at least 8 or 10, from what I can recall. This one's pretty nice, isn't it? What's this? Special half price offer, a veteran car table lamp. Only 25 shillings. Look at that. Blimey. Now, if I can remember, there is a really great website which has got Brooke Bond tea related memorabilia, and that lamp is probably on there. It's got all the books, of course, and loads of other interesting memorabilia. There's a little mini. That's brilliant. I used to have one of them. Much a 90s one though, not a 60s one. Nice. Here we are. Tropical Birds. This is the one I remember now. It's got a name on. G. Wainwright. It's got a bit. I didn't realise, but this is also illustrated and described by Tunnicliffe. I remember this one very well. Yes. It's lovely, isn't it? What brilliant artist he was. I said the 4 ladybirds he did are amazing. Absolutely amazing. Highly collectible in their own right. You can see, look at the quality of those illustrations. They're just amazing. What a talent. He did lots of book illustration, as you would imagine. Oh, they're gorgeous, aren't they? So vivid. Very, very nice indeed. Oh, there's one missing there. Oh, another one there. It looks like they were in and they've just sort of dropped out, which is a shame, but it's okay. We're here for the nostalgia rather than anything else. Lovely stuff. Let's start another pile. And now this looks much more modern. Police File. The story of Britain's police in action. There he is outside New Scotland Yard. Yeah, this looks like mid-70s, doesn't it? Or a little bit later. 76, 77 is what I'm suspecting. Looking at the style of car as well. Oh, that bike there. Now, he's got a purple bike. It looks like a chopper bike, but it's actually a Tomahawk. And I had one exactly like that in that exact colour when I was a kid. So I reckon this is definitely 75 or 76, without a shadow of a doubt. Looking at the different cars as well, I'd say we were pretty on the ball there. Another big order form. It's actually quite a good one, this, isn't it? I like the illustrations. Really good write-ups by the look of it. And a quiz at the end as well. How much do you know about the police? Well, not that much, I suppose. Now this rings a bell as well. British costume. Yes, I remember. This is one as well that I remember looking through back in the day. Certain my gran must have had this one. Awesome, aren't they? Yeah, all the way through. Up to 1967, which you have to sort of suspect may have been when this came out, there or a year or two after. So, yeah, remember that pretty well, that one. Butterflies of the World. I seem to remember Butterflies of Britain, but maybe the memory is cheating. Yeah, I seem to remember like maybe British butterflies, not world butterflies, but couldn't tell you. Well, I'm not really interested in butterflies, or lepidoptery, I think it's called, isn't it? Not my thing. But interesting all the same. Yeah, Butterflies of the World. This is another one I don't remember. Wonders of Wildlife, 10p. So this is perhaps towards the end of the 70s again. Is what I'm guessing. The Sea Giants. Yeah. I wonder exactly when the Brooke Bond actually stopped doing their albums. Look, Chimp calendar. That's the PG tips for 1976. So maybe that's dating this one quite accurately. They wouldn't sell a calendar for like an old year, would they? So 76 it is. Okay. This is instructional. Play Better Soccer, introduced by Don Revie. 40 ways to play better soccer, I should say. Wow. Jerry Francis, Mike Channing, Colin Todd and Ray Clements. They're the ones helping us play better soccer. Well, there's definitely football collectors out there, aren't there? But it's not something I've ever collected myself. Look, Play Better Soccer, a Jerry Francis training ball. Only 50p. They don't miss a trick, do they? Nice. Trees in Britain. Michael Owens, sixpence, so I'm guessing this is 60s then. I think I probably prefer the wildlife ones of all. But I think out of the ones we've seen so far, I think that police one was much better than I was expecting. And I like the dinosaur one, of course. Still haven't come across my flag one yet, which is the one I most remember as a kid. I'm certain it's in here because it's what attracted me to it. And this is much slimmer than the other one. Still sixpence. The Saga of Ships. I do like their wraparound jackets. They're really nice, those. And I like the way they emphasise that it's for educational purposes, you know. So on the whole, bar a couple of albums, they've mainly been complete books, haven't they? I'm sure it wouldn't be too difficult to finish off those ones I was missing. Probably just cheaper to buy a brand new one with the with a complete set of cards in. History of Aviation, this was 5p. 50 of the greatest aircraft in the history of flight. You have to think, if this has come from one person, they must have drunk a lot of tea, you know what I mean? I mean, they must have had packets on the go night and day to get this many cards, you know? I was always a coffee guy, although I've got quite back into tea recently. Bit of Earl Grey. Don't mind that now and again as a change. With a little gyrocopter, a bit like Little Nelly from Diamonds Are Forever. Good stuff. Inventors and Inventions. 8p. This one looks fairly... It's got a picture cover, which is unusual, isn't it? So I think this is perhaps a little bit later than what we've been looking at. Still got the wall chart and everything's in decimals, so I guess we're looking at mid-70s again by the looks of it. Don't know, but the artwork just doesn't seem so good on this one. A weird sort of style, you know. Yeah, not my favourite. Vanishing Wildlife. Nice jacket, isn't it? So it's about a species going extinct. Looks like these people both work for the WWF, the World Wildlife Fund. Yeah, these are quite nice. That's a nice card, isn't it? Siberian Tiger. I don't remember this ever seeing this one. Looks like it's slightly later. Design and paint a wildlife picture card. Look at the camera she's got there. It's broken up by continents. That's nice, that. Yeah, and very much in conjunction with the World Wildlife Fund by the look of it. That's really good. That's the sort of thing, you know, a few companies could sort of do with today, isn't it, really? Wild Birds in Britain, this rings a bell, and it's also by Tunnicliffe again. A great illustrator. Yeah, this does ring a bell. I have a feeling this is one that my gran would have had. It's a 60s one, and just cracking illustrations. Absolutely brilliant. You can see what a class act he was. And he did all the write-ups as well, so he's obviously an incredibly knowledgeable guy as well as a great illustrator. Amazing, aren't they? I mean, something like that. I know Tunnicliffe has got his own books, but you can imagine that, you know, that could be reprinted easily, couldn't it? Right, Olympic greats. So when's this? 1980. Look, that is probably the latest one we've seen. Summer Games. They were in Moscow. Yeah, the Moscow Olympics. Now, wasn't that one where Sebastian Coe first won a race? Was that the Moscow Olympics? I think. But I do also believe it was one of the ones where a few countries boycotted it simply because it was in Russia. But I could be wrong. I was only 10 at the time. I've just broken down into the different sports by the look of it. Good if you're a fan of the Olympics. Britain's Olympic gold medalist. That's pretty cool. Yeah, it goes up to the 1976 Olympics. So, yeah, 1980 hadn't happened, but I'm pretty sure Seb Coe won a medal. Aha! Now this one I remember. And look, it's an early one. It's got that Wainwright name on. African Wildlife. And it's also Tunnicliffe. I had no idea he did so many. And it's funny that the ones that I remember the most are by Tunnicliffe, although we still haven't seen the maps one yet, have we? Which I do remember having and referring to when I was at school. It's really nice. Look at the quality of that illustration compared to some of the 70s ones. Incredible, isn't it? Really, really nice. Looks like someone was a bit slap happy with the gluing there. Dear oh dear. I remember when I would put stuff in albums, sort of in the late 70s, 80s, the Panini albums, I would be so careful to put them in really neatly, you know. The Sea, Our Other World. 5p. A bit of underwater action here. The first man in the sea, did he fall or was he pushed? Don't remember this one at all, but the illustrations are pretty cool. Look, Jacques Cousteau. He turned men into fishes. I guess his program, the Undersea World of Jacques Cousteau, was probably on around this time, maybe. It's an incredible series if you've never seen it. Excellent. Here we are. Virtually the last one, next to last one. Flags and Emblems of the World. And it's a sixpence. It must have been an early one, a 60s one. Now, one of the reasons I remember this is because when I was doing my geography class at secondary school, I seem to remember pinching the Argentinian flag. I think it was the Argentinian one. They're brilliant, aren't they? They're good representations. Was it Argentina? I seem to remember it being light blue. Yeah, that's the one. For some reason, my geography project was something to do with Argentina. Before the Falklands, this was. And I pinched that. I had this album and I pulled this one out. And another one I seem to recall as well. Well, there we are. Probably quite a common one, I would imagine. And we've got one more here, which seems to be the most boring one of all. Incredible Creatures. It doesn't even say Typhoon on it. So what's... So what's all this about? This doesn't appear to be your typical album. Looks like it's homemade. This has all been cut out and put in. I wonder if this is how they did it. Maybe these were printed on the boxes or something like that. And it was put together. Maybe someone could leave a comment in the comments down below about what this one is. 40 cards. It's an album of some sort. I mean, it looks like it's homemade, doesn't it? Crazy. Now, I did mention that I got this little reference book. This is the most up-to-date one that I can find on Brooke Bond tea cards. And as I said, there's a couple of specialist Brooke Bond websites which are quite interesting. But this is published by the London Cigarette Card Company. They've been around a long time, decades in fact, and they list all the different variations, all the foreign releases, and they show you which ones are rare, which ones are super common. As you can see, there's lots and lots to see. We recognise some of these that we've just seen here. I think there's variations, there's different coloured backs, and there's all sorts, and of course those wall posters. But here it is. Look, they're gorgeous, really well produced, isn't it? Lots of ones that we've not seen. I wonder how far back they went. These look very early to me. Yeah, look, issues of Great Britain, Ireland, Canada, and South Africa. And looks like it goes back to 1954. Wowee. There we are. Lists all the different ones, different issues. I don't think there's any prices in here. But you just go on their website. They're dirt cheap. I wouldn't even recommend doing that. I'd just say jump onto eBay because these are so cheap to collect. As I said, this entire lot, all those albums only cost a tenner. That book was like 12 quid. So the book on them actually costs more than the actual Brooke Bond cards. But I think it's a really good reference book, one that you might want to track down. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that little look through my vintage Brooke Bond tea card collection. Certainly something that I don't think I'm ever seriously going to collect, but it was for £10. It was such a nostalgic lot. Just head on over to eBay. I shall put a link to Brooke Bond cards in the description down below. That will take you straight there, and hopefully you'll find a similar job lot that I did very cheaply. And if you fancy collecting them, do let me know. So thank you very much for watching today. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, do please hit the subscribe button. Do please give the video a thumbs up, and I'll look forward to seeing you again very soon. Bye.